Okay, I will now share with you some words on our Torah portion. I promise it's not going to be very long. So Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Parashat Bo, this portion, Parashat Bo, brings us to the heart of the Exodus story. The moment where redemptions become inevitable. The final plagues strike Egypt. Pharaoh's power fractures, and Bnei Israel, or the children of Israel, stand poised on the edge of freedom. Yet the Torah does something surprising. Before the people leave Egypt, before the Yam Suf, or the Sea of Reed, splits, before miracles overwhelm nature, God pauses history and teaches the Israelites how to live as free human beings. The portion begins with, which we just read, the first of those plagues. The portion begins with the last three plagues that descends upon Egypt. Arbe, Choshech, Vemakat Bechorot, locust, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. While the Egyptians are suffering greatly from each and every one of these plagues, the children of Israel stay safe and are taken care of by God. Especially evident to that extent are the last two plagues, darkness and the death of the firstborn child. In Exodus chapter 10, verses 22 to 23, we find this description. ויט משה את ידו על השמיים, ויהי חושך אפלה בכל ארץ מצרים 3 ימים. Moses held out his arm towards the sky, and thick darkness descended upon all the land of Egypt for 3 days. People could not see one another, and for 3 days no one could even move about. It was that of a thick darkness. But all the Israelites enjoyed light in their dwellings. The darkness that the Torah is talking about is an obsolete darkness. Not a single Egyptian could even move out of their beds. That's what the Torah is saying. They could not even come, they could not even get up because it was so dark. An absolute despair, a thick darkness, both physically and spiritually. But for the Jewish people, there was light in all their dwellings. Not only in the physical sense, but also, and maybe more importantly, in the spiritual sense. You see, the children of Israel put their trust in God. And while total darkness was present all around them, they were not even touched by it, because they had faith, they had hope, and because of that they had light in their lives, both spiritually and physically. Our portion continues with the first commandment given to the Jewish people as a nation, as a people. This mitzvah means a commandment, it also means a good deed, but first and foremost it means a commandment. This mitzvah is not about land, not about law, or about leadership. It is about time. החודש הזה לכם ראש חודשים. This month, right now, Tishrei, shall be for you the first of the months. Freedom begins with time, with the ability to define, sanctify, and own one's time. In Egypt, time belonged to Pharaoh. Slavery means living in Zman Meshuabad, or enslaved time. Days blur into one another, the future is foreclosed, and life becomes an endless cycle of just survival. Pharaoh's power was not only political or economic, it was also temporal. He controlled the rhythm of life itself. God commands restored something that we called Kvod Adam, or human dignity. by giving the Israelites authority over the calendar. Jewish time is not neutral or mechanical. It is sanctified, mekudash. We count months by the moon, mark sacred moments, and insist that time can carry meaning. In 2026, this message feels painfully relevant. Our lives are governed by digital clocks, algorithms, and constant urgency. We are always on, always responding. We are rarely are present. Like Egypt, modern life promises efficiency, but often delivers exhaustion. Parashat Bo asks us, who owns your time, Pharaoh or God? When we're talking about redemption in Parashat Bo, it is not something that is passive. The Israelites are commanded to take the blood of the Passover of Pesach offering, the Passover lamb, to take its blood and place it on their doorpost. Now, this act in ancient Egypt is deeply radical. In Egypt, the lamb was a symbol of one of the symbols of Egyptian worship. To slaughter the lamb and publicly mark one's home was an act of defiance and courage. The Midrash, or rabbinical tale, teaches that this was a test of faith, expressed through action. The doorpost, or mezuzah, becomes a liminal space, a threshold between slavery and freedom, between fear and trust. God does not pass over randomly. God responds to our courage, to human courage. In our own time, the doorpost still matters. In an era of rising anti-Semitism, moral confusion, and social fragmentation, Parashat Bo asks us this: where are we willing to mark our homes, our communities, and our public lives with Jewish values? What does it mean to live visibly as Jews, guided by Torah, even when it feels risky? Parashat Bo also teaches us about humility. The Israelites are commanded to eat matzah, bless you. And matzah, other name for matzah is lechem oni, or the bread of affliction. But matzah is also the bread of possibility. It is simple, unadorned, unfinished. Redemption does not come with luxury or certainty. It comes with haste and humility for the Israelites. In 2026, many of us crave control and clarity. We want guarantees before we move forward. Parashat Bo teaches that freedom requires trust and not certainty. Matzah reminds us that growth begins when we are willing to leave our comfort behind. And again, God commands the people in this portion to remember. והגדת לבנך ביום ההוא. You shall tell your child on that day. Jewish memory is not just nostalgia. It is a memory that obligates each and every one of us. We remember slavery so that we never, ever normalize oppression. We remember redemption so that we never surrender to despair. In a world saturated with information but starving for wisdom, Parashat Bo insists that storytelling shapes identity. The story we tell determines the future we are going to build. And we need to choose freedom again and again and again. The Exodus is not a one-time event. Actually, the Torah commands us to see ourselves and we are saying this sentence in the Seder, in the Passover Seder, כאילו הוא יצא ממצרים, as if we, each and every one of us, personally left Egypt. Every generation has its own Mitzrayim, its own narrow place. Metzarim in Hebrew is a narrow place. Mitzrayim and Metzarim written the exact same way. So each and every generation have its own narrow place that we need to deal with. Parashat Bo calls us today to proclaim our time, affirm our identity, act with courage, and trust. Trust that God is present even in our darkest moments. Redemption begins not when the world changes, but when we do. May we have the wisdom to sanctify our time, the courage to mark our doorposts, and the faith to step forward even before the sea splits. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.